Okay, great. All right. So our next guest on the Epic Transformers podcast is somebody very special, and their name is Robyn Ness Alcantar. I probably should have asked you if this was the right pronunciation before we got started. But they use they and he pronouns. Robyn Ness is a non-binary trans-mass Filipinx artist and woodworker, born and raised on occupied Kumuye land, which is also known as San Diego, California. They are best known for selling their artworks at local markets across San Diego, and is also the woodworker who made Schuler Baylor's iconic whiteboard back in 2020. When I read this earlier, I was very intrigued, and I really hope that we can talk about that later on in the podcast.
Yeah.
So that more people know exactly what that is, because it sounds like it's kind of a big moment in your artistic career. So
Yeah. Oh, and his name is Skylar.
oh,
Baylor.
Skylar, thank you.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to be here, and I hope you are excited as well, Robyn. Just honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up here today and being willing and open to sharing your story. So just to get us started, I am curious, like what originally, or what is bringing you here into this podcast space today?
Yeah. Oh, I like that question, because like with that question, I just think about the first time we met, and
Okay.
I remember like we met at a community event, like, and we were just surrounded by other queer and trans folks, and like I think that's like what brought us here, because like for me to like be in those spaces, it took a journey for me to like know who I am, and like also like look for and find and nurture that community space with other queer folks, and yeah, and I don't know, just being around other queer folks and like learning more about queer and trans history, and just seeing other people, like other queer folks, be unapologetically themselves, like in public spaces and in community spaces, that like helped me also like just be comfortable in my own skin and body and vessel. So yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, just meeting you and like seeing our journeys together and like individually. Yeah, I still have the art piece I got from you from the day that we met on our wall.
Oh my God, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I actually look at it a lot, because I'm just like, yeah.
And remind me, I can picture it. It's like pink, but has like butterflies, I think, and then there's a saying on it.
Yeah. Yeah, the saying is like, I can't remember it word for word, but the part that like really comes to me and resonates with me is like, you keep thinking you'll fall, but I think it says, but honey, what if you fly? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I need to just like, I wanted to remember to always like change that perspective.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
a downward spiral can like like also be an upward spiral, like if you just
Mm.
switch your perspective and just have
Mm.
that reminder.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool. Well, we're definitely going to get into like your artistic stuff as well, and your creations and all the work that you're doing for RNA Creations. Is that the title of your business?
RNA Art and Woodworks.
Art and Woodworks. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm getting it all set in my brain here, but I do want to go into to start what you were most excited to share with us on the podcast today. You wrote a little bit about that you have really significant anniversaries all happening in this month. And
Yeah.
so I thought it would be amazing to start at this spot. And also, I would love for you to be able to share what those anniversaries are.
Yeah, of course. Wow, yeah, there's actually quite a lot of anniversaries. I actually kind of, I in my mind, I'd say that like December is like a month of my rebirth in a way, because like December 1st, specifically December 1st, 2017 was my first ever T shot, um, and I took my T shot up in Portland at this like clinic specifically for queer and trans folks. Like they had their own separate building called Gender Pathways, and yeah, like it was really amazing. It was really easy. Like I went in, and then like this was after like I did all the paperwork that took kind of a long time. But yeah, so like December 1st was my first ever T shot, and then December 13 of 2021, so 3 days before my top surgery, um, that's when I got my official like new ID with my name and gender marker change. Yeah, and then 3 days after December 16th, 2021 is also my top surgery anniversary date. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, so a lot of really big things. And
Also, what is today?
oh shoot, yeah, today is my 2 year anniversary for top surgery. Yeah. Yeah. So 2 year anniversary for top surgery today. And that's wild. Yeah, yeah, like 3 days ago was my 2 year anniversary for my new ID,
Yeah.
um, for my gender marker and a name change for my driver's license. And actually earlier this month, um to like further add to the list, I had some help with friends uh to like officially get my birth certificate also changed. So that process has started, and then I'm actually about to get back on HRT.
Okay, that is very exciting.
Yeah, so a lot of big things this month, and yeah.
Amazing. I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to ask you about this. Like,
Yeah.
what what about these anniversaries? Like, why? What would you? How would you describe the importance of them to us?
Oh yeah. Um, hmm. I would say the the main thing that I'm also like practicing myself to like remember the importance of these days for me is also to remember to just like celebrate ourselves, and also celebrate that like gender affirming healthcare does wonders to a queer person's life. And I see a lot of like things about celebrating like queerness, but it's different from seeing it online to actually practicing it.
Yeah,
Um, so like yeah, so that's actually like what like an important thing for me that I'm continuing to learn to
yeah,
celebrate, because like with so much going on, things kind of like go over my head, and then I'm like, wait, like I need to slow down and also remember to celebrate my journey.
for sure. Yeah, and I feel like when I was reflecting on this, like before we hopped on too, I felt like for me, like it like along with what you're just saying, like the acknowledgement of ourselves and the milestones that we've been through, I think that to me has been like so important doing, puberty for the second time, because I felt like the first time going through puberty there wasn't, at least in my experience, there weren't much much celebrations like with others about the puberty or like the changes I was going through in my life or things that were going on like in high school and things like that. Um, and I think that on some level, thinking back on it now, like I don't know how much I would have actually liked that because I wasn't like the most fond of my, the way my body was changing at that time. But I
Yeah.
also think that there's like another part of me that like if we are genuinely celebrating each other's lives, like, and what is happening to our bodies. Like, I think I would have liked that. I would have liked that, there was just this acknowledgement of like my existence and what was going on, and that was worthy of being, honored in some way. Like, even going and having a period, like, I felt like that was weird to just, you know, you're told about what's going to happen to your body, and then it's just like it happens, and then you like do all the things that you're supposed to do, but there's no ceremony, there's no like,
Yeah.
it feels like there's something that you're supposed to hide and shush about. And so I was also wondering what you thought. Do you think that that would be, what did I even write? Like, I'm kind of like, I'm trying not to like read off my notes here and also just like talk to you like a person.
Oh
But
yeah. No.
I also feel like what I said, I think I would have hated that anyways. But there's another part of me that I think I would have really liked to celebrate the big and small moments of becoming a teenager and young adult. And so I was going to throw that back over to you and say, what do you think about that as well?
Yeah. Hmm. Would you mind if I ask like clarification of like just
Yeah,
like the like your question of
yeah, for
like
sure.
me as a teenager or like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that I'm just kind of curious, like, what your thoughts are now that you've kind of transitioned and gone through like other, another form of puberty, so to speak, or like body transformation, right? Like,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
feel like as your teenager self, looking back at that time period, would you have wanted to have, celebrations or celebrating milestones and doing it with community on some level?
Yeah, like well actually now that I've like now that I'm more aware of my transness and like my journey to be where I'm at, like as far as like my awareness with my body, like I like that question. Like there was like a point in time, or wait, sorry, I'm like I'm like I had two different thoughts and I was trying to like organize it, but
Yeah, and we can always like come back to it too, like we have other things that we can talk about, and it might like spark something later on too. It's not like we
okay.
have to go into it right now either.
Yeah, or like there's one thing I want to say, like specifically with I do remember like specifically when I realized I was going through a second puberty once I started HRT. I actually did keep a sketchbook where I would write, like I would draw in like, oh, like I found some like chin hair and like mustache hair, and like I noticed that my hips were going in more, um and like my sideburns started getting a little thicker and longer. So just things like that I would document, and I remember sharing it with my friends, like on social media pretty much.
Yeah.
Um and like now more recently, with like this group of friends and community that like is really becoming family to me. I shared with them all of my anniversaries for this month, and like one of my friends like immediately started putting all the dates I was saying on their calendar, and
Oh,
that was really affirming and just like was like a warm hug, just yeah, a warm hug in itself.
yeah.
And yeah, because like before, like when my anniversaries would come up, I I wouldn't have like a celebration, but now with community showing me that love and like on how to like celebrate me, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I could be more vocal about this and share my journey with others. But yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that is going to be huge on many levels for many people, because like, even as you're speaking, I'm thinking about, like, again, back to like the teenager self, like, not know like knowing that I had this innate love for myself and for other people in my life, and I couldn't quite understand like why. I started to understand that that was shifting, when as I got older, like, oh, older people start to like, or just certain things that you start to really pick up on, the subtleties of what people say about their bodies or what they say
Yeah.
about their life, or you're not really understanding it too, or maybe some people are really when they're younger, but I was not. I was just kind of like in this really state of love, like, oh my God, I came into this beautiful family, this beautiful life. I'm like, cool, like I'm here for it. And then I started getting older and like started realizing that that wasn't something that anybody openly did very much of, you know, it was almost like, don't put too much attention onto yourself. That's not the important part, right? Either
Yeah.
because of religion or just like the way society norms were, like we just don't do that, right? And so I always felt like there was something to be ashamed of, or that I should just like hide myself more, or, because I wasn't feeling very comfortable, it just started to become easier to kind of, mold or morph into this version of myself that felt really just disconnected, and like the love was starting to really fade, honestly, which is really sad, honestly. But I feel like, yeah, like what you've shared too, I think is maybe going to spark something in somebody's heart going,
Mm.
wait, what am I waiting for? Do I need to, I don't need to be on a gender journey to be celebrating who I am, or what I love about how my body has changed, or how my life has changed. And I don't have to like just share it one time. I can really continue to like have these anniversaries be a part of my, every year thing.
Yeah.
Those are big moments. So I'm just really proud of you, and I'm congratulating you huge. I feel like, yeah, like big,
Yeah.
big up, Robyn. This month.
Thank you, Maverick.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, like, while you were talking about your teenage self, something that came to mind that I completely forgot that was really huge for me. And like, I don't know, now that I look back, like on my teenage self, I do realize that like a lot of the time I was mentally like more so dissociated away from my mind and body. Um, yeah, and like the only place where I actually really felt seen was like within like a basketball gym setting, because that was like where I was able to like be my masculine self and not be like shamed from it.
Mm.
And like and then it wasn't until like a year after I graduated high school was this was 2015 or 2016. I think it was 2015, and this was the first time like I ever had the information or heard the word non-binary, and like was even asked like about my pronouns, and even heard about they them pronouns. So I realize now that like I was kind of not struggling to like I was like having a difficult time having that connection, because it wasn't until after my teens where I had the information to like be like, oh, like that feels like me, but I never had that information before. Um,
Right.
yeah, and it was in a psychology of sexual health and well-being class at Mesa, like at one of the community colleges, and I was like, oh wait, like here are other like queer folks who are like being very openly themselves in a classroom full of um like I remember when they came in, a lot of the folks in the class also didn't know about like what being queer looked like outside of being gay or lesbian. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah, like
Yeah.
I just remember like that class was a huge turning point for me um,
Yeah,
in my journey.
for sure. I think I don't. I mean, the, uh, I feel like I really did not have a true understanding or knowing of anything trans besides like even past college. Like I guess I was starting to like hear more about it, but it was something that I didn't really, I don't know, I just didn't really dive into. I was more like thinking more about my identity as like a lesbian and these types of things. And like, I remember, I don't know exactly when I started watching a lot of things that started to click for me was like watching things online. And so there were
Yeah.
like a few trans guys that I watched online for like years, maybe 6 or 7 years. And like, I, honest to God, like I went off to, after graduating college, I went to San Diego and I just like surrounded myself by a lot of like lesbians and like, and it just felt like there was like an openness to trans and non-binary identities within that space, but it wasn't like you really didn't feel the presence of any trans people in those spaces, right? And
Yeah.
so once I kind of like really had like my trans awakening, I'm like looking around at my community, I'm like, I don't feel like I have a single trans friend. Like I can't say that. Like, and there was also a whole other thing around like transforming like my community and my identity in community when I transitioned. But I feel like that's to me was when I started to realize when I put myself actually in spaces with surrounded by trans people how amazing it felt. Like it felt like I was skyrocketing of just this is so nourishing to my soul
Yeah.
to just be listening to these people. I'm like, you all like are eons ahead of me or something, but like at the same time, it doesn't matter. Like we're all on these different journeys, and like I think it's beautiful to have people at all different stages and that look at it in all different kinds of ways. It kind of like makes your brain go on fire of like, wow, how do I want to go about this?
Yeah.
And right for me and all those kinds of things. So yeah,
Oh, wow. Yeah,
yeah,
I completely feel that because yeah, even for like the first time for me stepping into a queer space like that was more so like queer and trans and not non-binary folks. I just remember the first time where like I didn't have to explain like, oh, like I use these pronouns because I'm non-binary, like, oh, please like respect that. Like it was just like, oh yeah, all right. So you could be yourself and like just be completely welcomed, and like people um like just have more of that understanding of like, oh yeah, let's not assume someone's pronouns,
yeah,
like especially during an introduction or greeting time. Like,
totally.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It almost like is so much more of like, the just this is the baseline norm. Like, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like we're just creating like this whole new paradigm that's like, this makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
kind of feels funny at first. You're like, oh, like we do this, but like I feel like it just opens up the playing field for everybody to just be comfortable in who they are.
Yeah.
There's
It
no guessing if we can be comfortable in this space. No, like you get to show up exactly as you are. So
exactly.
yeah. Well, this is amazing. I love how it's just kind of naturally our conversation is building. Um, the next question I have is, um, let's see. Yeah, I feel like if, well, I think, yeah, I think this is the next question. So, what do you feel has changed the most for you from the beginning of your journey to now? And think of it in terms of like spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah, I like that question. Yeah, so I'll go like the first thing that comes to mind is like my physical change during my journey, like for my journey, because like so my first tee shot, like HRT comes to mind for me first, and my first tee shot was December 1st, 2017, and since that date I was on testosterone for 5 years up until I turned 26. So I'm 28 now, so once I turned 26, that was when my insurance cut off. And like I did plan for it, and I did have like my last like my doctor gave me a prescription for like 6 more doses after that. But trying to get on my own insurance has been pretty difficult. So yeah, like there there were like with that there was highs and lows because like I felt fully in my euphoria when I was on HRT, but because of societal things or like financial things too, like I wasn't able to stay consistently on HRT, which I'm happy now that like I'm gonna be going back on that, and like I'll be able to pretty much start within a month of me like getting that first like app or like email in, which is really cool. And like yeah, I do you mind if I like say the resource I'm going through? Just so
Yeah.
like or if anyone else hears this, like they'll have
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
so actually so like I used to work at the center here in San Diego. And like uh I I made like I know the person or the two folks like for the trans project, and yeah, they helped me find like point me towards the resource called uh the GEMS Clinic. I believe it's yeah, the GEMS Clinic. It's like through San Isidro Health.
Okay.
And it's pretty much like you just send them an email, say what your financial status is then, and if you have insurance or not. Like I don't have insurance right now, but I was told I'll still be able to get back on HRT with them, and they'll work with me, which is really cool because I was like trying to get a new job that had benefits for me to go back on insurance, but
Yeah.
like knowing that there are places and resources that will work with folks who don't have insurance, and it's a pay as you can kind of system is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. I also, for the center, the LGBT center, when I was in San Diego too, that I had one of the best non binary therapists that I found through there. And they do offer, like, regardless of your insurance, I think, is like, depending on your financial status. I don't know if it's specifically about that, but I think they gave me like maybe 6 months of therapy.
Wow.
Which was really, really such a needed thing because like my like just through my insurance there I kept asking people for like a trans person or something, and they were able to like find me somebody who was queer, but at the time I really needed somebody who had been going through the transition or just like thinking about gender in a very deep way. Like I know queer people probably do too, but I just there was something I just felt like was missing from therapy, and I needed to know that like I really could dive deep into it all with somebody that kind of had done the same or and yeah, it was just it was amazing going through there. So,
Glad that you were able to have that for yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like getting back into therapy again and like kind of going up against the same things, but I
Mm.
think that was part of the reason too why I kind of got into like going into like a healing arts realm, because I wanted to see more of me or like have more support, right? Like have more trans people who are in these supportive either coaching or therapy roles to just be a guide, to have somebody to bounce their thoughts and feelings and know that like it's safe to do that, right?
Yeah,
Not just like shut it down or make it wrong or try to change it or try to fix it, you know? So,
exactly. Yeah. You saying that actually reminds me, this is gonna like go back full circle to Skylar Baylor.
okay.
Yeah, like yeah, like I talked to him like about this before, and like him sharing his story, that like he gave me that confidence to like one like really step into who I was and be like and say to myself in the mirror, like, I am trans. And I was like, oh shoot, like I just said that out loud, like not for anyone else, but just for myself. And it like just hearing it and like hearing the words leave my mouth and like really just encompass my entire being was huge. And it was because I was able to see that um, that like authenticity, like um, that was like unshakable with how like Skylar lives his life. I was like, yeah, I want to be confident in myself and like what does that look like for me? And like that looks like me coming to terms with my transness and like being open about it and not feeling like I need to hide and shame myself. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Cause yeah, like I would see him like post like this whiteboard and like just like either a daily affirmation on that whiteboard or even just like just information to know like about like queer and trans history and the things we go through in life. And like he also offers like mentoring on his website too. So and he has books which I read out and like yeah, like I remember the first time I tried to tell someone like, hey, I'm trans, like I pulled up Skylar's profile and I was like, I feel like I'm like this person.
Mm.
Yeah. And
And
like
so, yeah, tell me more about because you made a whiteboard for Skylar, or
yeah.
okay.
So like that first whiteboard that I saw like his activism on, I remember he posted on his story that he accidentally dropped it and it broke. And then I was like, oh, like I just like sent him a DM and I was like, hey, like I'm a queer and trans woodworker and artist, and like I would love to make you a custom whiteboard. And
Oh my God.
yeah. And then he ended up like responding back to me and he was like, yeah, I would love to commission you. And I'm just like, oh crap, like it's really happening. Yeah. I actually have a photo if you want to see.
Yeah, and maybe too, like you could send it to me, and I can also put it into the video.
Oh, oh, that's awesome. Okay, yeah, I would love
We'll
that.
just yeah, well let's do that.
Sounds good. But
Um, what?
yeah,
Yeah, tell me more too, like because like you said in the beginning too, that that's kind of where we met was at Trans Tuesday, and we were both like there selling our art.
yeah,
And I'm curious, like, what that journey has been like for you too, in terms of like being an entrepreneur or selling your artwork and that kind of thing.
yeah. I love that question because actually like one I'll say like it's been amazing and like I've really just found like my like I knew that art and creating and being creative like was my passion in life but now to like in the ways I've grown as an artist to like share my art like literally uh like so many things happened like within this past like week. So one, I had a vending event. I had quite a few vending events this month already, and for those events, I created this new print that said "A Good Judy and Friend of Dorothy," and it had like the red ruby slippers, and then in like a very light gold that's like still reflective. I put my like the trans symbol like next to my signature. Um, so it's like I don't know if you know the history with the sayings "a good Judy" and a friend of Dorothy.
I feel like I did learn about this. Like I feel like I heard about this only this year. So
Ah,
why don't you share a little bit more for I'm sure there's people that don't know. So
yeah, I also learned this year, like just a couple weeks ago about it. But from what I read and heard, it was like Judy Garland, who played the original Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, like she was a huge ally and activist for like gay men, like back in the 1950s,
mm,
1960s, and like her activism like started a like kind of like a lingo in the queer community, or specifically the gay community back then, where people would be like, or gay men would be like, are you a friend of Dorothy? And pretty much asking like, are you gay? And then the way that other people would receive it is like either like, oh yeah, I'm a friend of Dorothy, or like, oh, like what are you talking about? So it's like
Right.
it was that kind of like code to be like, okay, this is my community where I can go, and this is where
Yeah.
like I won't go, or like yeah. And then
Yeah.
the saying "a good Judy" was to say like, oh, this person's a good Judy. Like you can trust them. They create a safe space for queer folks and gay.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, like I put those both in one print, and
Okay.
yeah, I went to I vended at a Filipino event called like a Pearl Festival, and like I knew that I was gonna be around people like around other Filipinx folks or Filipino folks, and it was gonna be like a cultural event. But like for me, like growing up, like being queer in a very hyper religious like household, like I thought like my culture was like intertwined with religion. So like I had that kind of like, oh, like is this gonna be a safe event for queer folks?
Yeah.
But it ended up being a good event, and like some like queer Filipinx folks came up to me and was like, hey, like yeah, like I know what you mean by like a good Judy or a friend of Dorothy. And it was cool to hear so many folks come up to me and like and tell me that, because I was just like, yeah, like I'm trans in in a more straight cis space, and I'm here being confident, but also like this is like a part of my queer history that I wanted to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm getting chills hearing that.
And like yeah, it's been really cool to like be able to tell my story through my art, and like
Yeah.
at different vending events, because yeah, like I just want to mention a couple more things and that's it.
Please, please.
But yeah, like through my artist journey, like I've even been interviewed by like local magazines, or like yeah, local artist magazines. And I remember like having some hesitation with like sharing my story of being openly trans, and like um but yeah, like even with like some things that came up that like felt a little scary, like I remembered to like just be true to who I am, and like stand behind myself whenever I just felt like I wanted to hide again.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there was something else that happened, I thought, this week.
Oh yeah, I had a pearl making class where I was able to like share, like be a culture bearer, and just share like a traditional star lantern making class session this past Sunday, or this past Saturday, which was
Okay.
really cool.
And you got a new job.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, so many things. So many things, yeah. Literally. Yeah. So, okay, today's Monday. Literally yesterday morning, I quit my I quit my job, and I
Okay.
accepted and signed my offer letter for a new job today, this morning.
Amazing. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Sounds
So,
interesting. It sounds like something with like being outdoors and restoration for fill in the blank.
yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, today I accepted a job to be a canyon restoration technician. So
Yeah.
pretty much what that means is like I'll be helping like a team just clear out any invasive species of plants or trees and flowers, and then plant native species of like vegetation. And
Amazing.
then I'll also be like helping create hiking trails, helping maintain trails, and then also do like fire brush clearing. So like anything that could like spark a big fire, will clear that out.
Amazing.
So I'm excited to be in my nature era.
Yes, I think that's so good for like the soul too. I feel like I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a part too of like the under like the trans journey is kind of transiting back to nature in some way, like true nature and the connection to nature and how beautiful and just natural and how like it's life-giving and right like that
Yeah.
connection to ourselves and to Mother Earth, like I feel like it's very intrinsic to this like path as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like the first things that come to mind is like nature is queer, and nature, like I think of the butterfly, like goes through cycles of like of that chrysalis kind of just like completely turning to mesh and rebuilding yourself, and like being at your own pace too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
And
slowing down because like I oftentimes have to be like, especially like I feel like now too, where I'm at in my journey, like seeing, okay, I've been transitioning for 3 years or whatever, and like realizing that things that are going on now kind of bring me back to certain feelings in the beginning where you're just like, oh, I want things to go really fast, or like I'm ready for things to change. And like, there's like an eagerness, even though intuitively I knew that it was going to take some time to really like, you know, get to places that I wanted to get to. And so I think as human beings, that is a big part of many people's lives is just, and especially right now with like how fast you can get things done or get things sent to your house like from Amazon or whatever, like we're just used to like the quickness of things happening. And I
yeah,
think that there's a lot of people struggling with slowing down, with feeling safe to do that, and knowing that like when they slow down that they're still going to get to places that they want to get to, or things in their life are going to transform, and they just have to like know and trust that like we have done, where we put seeds into our body, right, of tea like every week or whatever it is, like the intention of now that I understand myself and the world in such a way, I'm not gonna think, oh, I'm just like gonna die and that my plant is gonna die and that it's never gonna come back again, or I'm never gonna be able to revive myself after something going downhill in my life, right?
yeah,
I feel like, yeah, just this moment too has given me such a space to even express that, because that's something that I've been feeling in my soul, but not knowing how to like articulate that. So, again, thank you for just being here, because I think you are such a conduit. I can really tell, especially in this conversation, how like you are definitely in the flow, because there's just something like, I've been trying to like go with my plan, but it's like, no, like there's something that's just really organic happening here, where it's just like easy to, from one thing to the next. Now we're talking about your artistry in a very beautiful way. And I think that is going to this next question that's kind of been popping up in my mind is, what do you see for, is there anything that you kind of see within this like next year of like where you want your art business to go?
Hmm. Actually, yeah. I love that question, because literally tomorrow I'll be going to a coffee shop to like spend all day there to just apply to this artist residency. And like
Cool.
um, I like the artist, the application opened up this month, and like before I could even see it like on my Instagram feed, like I got like so many messages sent from community family, like, saying like, oh, like I saw this and immediately thought of you, and like you should apply. And um, like literally the day that um, I had one of the people that was also hosting that session with me, and she was like, I already see you there. And I was just like, wow, I got chills when they said that, because I was like, wow, I feel that. Yeah. Okay. And like yeah, like having that like love being poured onto me from others like has helped me like believe it too, because like I like with
Yeah.
my creative journey I go through like these roller coasters of like not believing in myself, but then I have to like remember to like oh wait, no, like I got this. I think of Naruto and I'm like I believe in myself. And yeah. So that's like that's one thing I want to have going into the new year, and like grow as an artist, because like another new thing that's been happening for me this year is that I've been having more teaching events, and
Okay.
teaching opportunities. So literally this past October and November, I taught a series of lino cutting class, and like I actually have some pieces up here, like from like my students who joined, and
Wow.
just like helping, I don't know, like just being that guide for them to like step into their creativity and learn something new, and even just get to know them as artists and people, has been really amazing.
Wow. I'm so
So
impressed
like
by
I
you.
yeah, thank you. And like i I really want to just like share like like share that creativeness, that creative like spirit in other people, so that they
Yeah.
could like keep carrying that like ember with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good way of saying it. Yeah. I also wanted to reflect just something that I noticed, that I have noticed over your journey of you sharing your art with us, is that like I just really appreciate and love that you are so eclectic with like your range of artistic expression, because like I look at your stuff and like I feel like you don't box yourself in with your art. You don't say, "Oh, I need to like have it look this." Like you have definitely like a style that you definitely
Mm.
shines through, but like from your woodworking to your prints to your stamps to like all these different things, and like I feel like what's cool is like there's a mystery to it to some degree. Like it's got a meaning. You obviously put in a lot of intentionality, like you put words on it, and you
Mm.
have like what you talked about with the Judy and Dorothy one, is like there's all these like little things that are connected to pieces of your heart or your community or things that matter to you that are in there, but they're not like maybe like me, like where I'm just like, hey everybody, this is what but not to like compare, but like there's something about your work that just gives people like, I wonder kind of what's underneath the surface, or what's like deeper in Robyn's creative like mind and like imagination for putting this together. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really was like deeply appreciating just all the different things that you create, and how expansive and diverse they all are.
uh, Thank you. And while you're saying that, it like I'm actually wearing a shirt that has my art printed on it. And it's
Cool.
it's of my tattoo, because like this shirt and like my tattoo, like oh yeah, it like I don't know, whenever I'm feeling a little like I don't know, like if I'm feeling like even like a little more antsy, like wearing this shirt like really helps me like settle, like just remind myself of like the of my journey and like where I've been. And like,
Yeah.
do you mind if I actually explain a little or like share?
Please. Yeah. How about yeah, like couple minutes, and then we'll start to wrap
Okay,
things up in a little bit.
gotcha. But yeah, like one thing that I with my art that I've been wanting to like be more intentional with is like sharing my story as a queer person.
Yeah,
So like the main thing I'll say is like when you see this, like it looks like you're boxed in,
yeah,
and like, but if you look closer and like are more aware, like you see that there's a little opening, and that's like all you really need to like really open up your mind and not trap yourself.
yeah,
um and like it took me a lot to like just remember that in my journey, that like I didn't have to box myself into like one thing. And like that's why like I like to venture into new mediums with art, because it reminds me to like stay open and like to be curious and like to act on that curiosity, and like because like acting on it can just like lead you to another part of yourself that you didn't even know about. Or
yeah.
yeah, and like in that process, like being gentle with yourself. Like on my tattoo, which is like the same like this, I have a flower on my
Mhm.
chest. And it's like it's just a reminder to be gentle to yourself with that process.
I love that too. I feel like like for me, with like my healing arts background,
Mm.
like with hypnotherapy, we learn about anchors, and so you'll be taught like to have your client basically pick a part of their body. Like one of the ways was like pinching this little spot in between your thumb and your finger, but it
Oh.
could be like anything, right? Like anything on your hand that you're just like, this is my anchor point. So like you
Mm.
go through the session with the client and you have them really pick that out and like breathe through their moments of discomfort and just know that like this spot is actually what helps you kind of like come back into your body, know where you are, be grounded, those types of things. I feel like that's what was coming to mind when you talked about like your shirt or your artwork, like being physically on your body is almost like an anchor. And I definitely resonate with that because like I put what I wear, I feel like I've simplified it because I'm just like, I want things around me that remind me, like you say, to like feel like okay in myself or like, those reminders of who I am or the journey that I've been on, and just like know that it's okay wherever I'm at. If I'm starting to like feel a little lost in it, like
Yeah.
we can remind ourselves of that. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Uh, Hell yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like we've gone through a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. Uh,
So yeah, I think the last thing that we should talk about is just like basically yeah, like how you talked about like bringing people to your Instagram and that an art shop will be coming this next year. And is that also going to be like where people could like come to a workshop of yours? Are you going to have that on your Instagram or like your shop at some point?
yeah. So right now I'm mainly just on Instagram, like posting when I'm gonna be at a workshop or a vending event.
Okay.
And like uh, I'm definitely like stepping into like being better about posting things on time, because right now I've been posting after they happen. So I'm just like, wait, yeah, like that's something I've been wanting to be more intentional about with like into this next year, and like getting a
Yeah.
new phone, because I also cracked my phone a couple weeks ago and it's been a little choppy.
Okay.
um yeah, like so folks can follow me on Instagram at our or like my specific art account is at RNA artworks. Oh, it's RNA underscore artworks, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, or if they want to follow me on my personal, which is Robyn Ness underscore art. And the way that like I'm like selling my art, outside of vending events is just like if people want to DM me and like ask
Yeah.
for a print, like they can do that, and like I could either send it through the mail or do a pickup if they're local.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually
Cool.
doing that tomorrow too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like so. Yeah, I know you have quite a few things going on at the moment that I don't want to like stack anything onto your plate, but as we're talking, like I'm wondering if there's anything that you might may want to create for this community of listeners, like maybe this inspires you to create something that's like specifically geared to the trans community, like a trans, empowerment print or something of the sort, or maybe you already have something and you want to put it on sale or something for, January or February or something like that. I
Yeah.
just want to like inspire you and to, take this opportunity to create something special for these listeners and to like help with that engagement of your art, because you've been on this path for you've been committed and you've been sharing for so long, and I really want for you to grow even more and blossom even more this coming next year. And like I am just so amazed by your story and your transition and your transformation. And I really feel truly in like heart of hearts, like I can really feel how much you have intentionally done in your own life to love yourself, to be proud of who you are and show up authentically, and to remind yourself on those hard days to continue to be yourself, be out there sharing yourself, or even if it's the little tiniest trans flag next to your name, to let people know who you are when they're buying your art. I think those little tiny things actually go so far. And so yeah, it's up to you. Like there's no pressure, but like we're putting your Instagram out there anyway. So hopefully like people will follow you after listening to this by the end of the year, because that's my goal, is to get some of these out by the end of the year. And then come the first few months, hopefully people are kind of following along you.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's something special that they can kind of have their sonar radar out there, looking for what you might put out there.
Yeah, I love that you said that because I do have actually a lot of like ideas already sketched up. They're just like in a queue for me to carve. Um,
Cool.
yeah, and I'll give a hint about some of them, some of the ideas, and it's like it surrounds one, creative reminders specifically for queer, trans, and neurodivergent folks. Because I'm neurospicy and like like I'm coming up with a zine to like just remember like daily reminders to like keep yourself fed, and like that also includes like if folks have had top surgery uh to like massage their scars, or if they're um like to remind also folks like to practice good binder care, and like making sure that if they like that there's trans tape out there that's specifically meant for binding, that I've used before, and like not sponsored by them, but like like it really helped, especially like with my sensitive skin, and like just it was also very affirming too.
Yeah,
So yeah, like just reminders like that,
for
because
sure.
it's important to like take care of yourself and like to like do things that help people feel affirmed in their bodies, but in a safe way.
Yeah, that's important. I love that. And I definitely like even what you just said about massaging my scars. Like I've been literally just today thinking I need to do this more often, because you do it in the beginning because you're just like very, mindful, intentional. You just got this big surgery, but then like life happens and you're just like busy and you're not thinking about it. But I've been having like a little like twinge of pain like in the
Oh,
side, and I'm like, yeah, you definitely are telling me you want some more love, and I can definitely do that for my chest. But I love that you're gonna create something to like remind people, because yeah, there's a lot of things that take our time and attention away from caring for ourselves as
Yeah.
best as we can. So I love that.
But yeah, like yeah, I for this entire like conversation with you, like it's been really nice and also like reassuring too. And
Yeah.
I want to thank you for like all of your kind words and care.
Yeah.
It really like yeah, like it just feels like a warm hug.
Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of one of my goals with this podcast is that people feel that, even when we're not together, how we can really, yeah, like give each other a hug during this time.
Yeah.
I hope people listening to this also feel that hug, that we're giving to each other in this moment.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Is there any like other questions that you have or like
I don't think I have any, but I did this with the last podcaster. I gave them the floor to ask me one question before we hopped off, and so
hmm,
I will do that to you if there's anything you want to ask me.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Put the pressure
Um
on me.
let's see. Yeah, like okay, like um throughout your journey, I guess this is like almost like a two-part thing if you don't mind. But like throughout your journey, and yeah, like is there like what standout moment like comes to mind for you? It's a very open very open-ended like kind of question, but yeah, like what 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 moment really stands out for you? And then I'd say the second one is like um what's something you would want to share with others like uh, that like so that was something that you learned that helped you be more of your authentic self on your journey.
Hmm. Those are good questions. Let's start with the first one because I feel more clear on that, and then I might ask you a clarifying question about the second part.
Oh yeah.
Um, but just kind of, I think what you had said was like just something major in my journey that stands out. Kind of
Yeah, yeah.
open. Oh gosh, there's so many. uh, but I feel like I want to talk about how when I was waking up from top surgery, and my mom was videotaping me, and what was interesting is like I'm in this fog, right? And I like wake up and I actually felt like good waking up. I've been under anesthesia one time for my wisdom teeth. And I remember coming out from that and just being like, wait, like I was under? Like it happened so fast that it was very confusing and I didn't like that feeling. But this time, I think because I was under it longer and probably on more drugs than I was the first time, I was just like, oh, okay, like I'm awake and this is different than the first time. And I like had this memory of before I woke up that I was like surrounded by all these trans people and I was thinking about trans people and there was probably more to the vision, but my mom was videotaping me and like asking me how I was doing and what I was thinking about. And I just said, yeah, I was just thinking about people and there was just a lot of trans people around me and it was just like really nice and like what an amazing thing that one happened and two that my mom captured it on camera because now I have this little snippet of this remembering that like when I came like out of surgery from this major moment in my life like that I was surrounded by all of you and all this love and I literally too on a second note in that moment I remember when I was like feeling my chest, I legitimately felt this weight come off of my chest.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
I just could not believe it. You think about it so often and you think is this really going to be the best choice for me? And am I going to, is it, how am I actually going to feel? I feel like it is such a major decision. At least it was for me. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I just feel like to know that instantly when they were off, I was released from this weight and this burden that I had been feeling for so long in my life. So yeah, and I don't know if that partly answers the second question, but if there was more that you wanted to know on the second part, can you either repeat it or, say it in a different way? Maybe it'll help me.
Yeah. So like I guess uh like what's a piece of advice that
Okay.
you told yourself that like you would want to share with others?
Oh gosh, a piece of advice. Okay. I think I don't know. I feel like something there's like nothing really coming to mind, which is weird for me because that usually does come. But I'm looking over at this and I feel like, affirmations have become like very popular in the mainstream, but I feel like honest to goodness, like, I've been around so many folks within our community, and so many of us struggle with feeling like we can be confidently ourselves or be boldly ourselves or be loudly ourselves. Um and so I feel like, and I oftentimes feel like for people that aren't in the community that are in my life, sometimes they have either had their own issues with being loud and being out, that they then project that onto me, like I'm the problem for being so loud and out, and like I'm just trying to take up too much space or something like that. And I now know, like, it's more about like how other people have treated them for that way, being that way. But I really truly feel like people are going to see this as like maybe being loud or being projecting, but it's mostly been for me. But I also feel it just having reminders around, I think that is like a good starting place to have in your space where you can start to create that like sacred container around you, when the rest of the world doesn't feel safe at the moment. Like just reminding yourself that you can create safetiness in your life on some way, shape, or form or level.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love that you brought you brought up the sign the painting that you did. Because I remember like as soon as my camera turned on and I saw that, I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, I'm safe here and like you're a good Judy. So yeah, I was like, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, I feel that like I'm currently right now like in a learning roller coaster of like remembering that I could take up space and like my identity can take up space, my voice can take up space.
Yeah, I am too. And I feel like that's another part of this is like, we're like just remembering that we need to almost be like coming back into that realm of, you know, I can speak my truth. I can be who I am. Like, I think current events and things that have been happening have really shaken us and they want it to shake us. But we
Yeah,
are trees. Like we're not at the baby root stage anymore. Like there,
yeah,
and then our roots have been connecting together, underneath the surface, so to speak. And people may not realize it, but we're so strong. And that's the beauty of like creating this network or creating this bigger, wider space for more people to understand. Like we are all connected, not just the trans community and queer community connecting together. No, we're all connected.
yeah,
I hope this reaches more than just trans and queer people. I feel like it is for all of us to know, like we are all connected.
yeah, exactly. And like yeah, something I've been seeing is that like no matter where our background is, like we have that we have commonalities and yeah, like when you brought up trees, like we are trees, like I'm reading this book, and like trees have like an entire ecosystem of like and biodiversity that like keeps them alive, and like other trees make like yeah, just we're stronger in numbers and like in community.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what keeps like plants like going and so strong, like, because they're so connected to each other. And I just wanted to talk about the aspen tree. I don't know if you're familiar with their root system.
Uh, I don't think I am.
Okay, but aspen's literally like, I mean, I'm sure that there's other trees too that are all connected like in some way, but aspens typically will stay like in big groups, and literally all of their root systems are connected to each other. And so if somebody in that family group is starting to die, they will literally send all their energy over to that tree to like
Oh,
help it.
that's
So
amazing.
I love that so much. And yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm so full. I feel so like I just feel full of gratitude and love and
Mm,
just thankfulness and everything. So,
same.
but I do think it's time to go,
Oh
and
yeah.
we'll have to see each other again soon.
Yeah. And like if anything, we'll still be on like in connection on like social
Social
media.
media, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Keep
Until
sharing your updates. I love seeing them and
ah,
inspiring so many, Robyn.
thank you, Maverick.
Yes. All
Yee.
righty. You
Thank
have a
you
good
for
rest of your
having
night.
me. You too. Gucci says bye.
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 Thank you.